Good morning. My name is Shannon, and I want to share with you this morning 5 main reasons why I homeschool. I was a high school math teacher before my first daughter was born, and I just imagined that we would send our kids to a similar kind of school. I taught at a private Christian high school, thought it was awesome, and so I just planned that we would send our kids to that kind of school. So homeschooling wasn't even a thought for me. But when God started changing our direction, which I'll link below a video where I share more of that story, because he totally just changed our direction. It was so cool. But when he did that, a mom who also homeschooled advised me to think about my why. Why am I choosing to homeschool our kids? Why is that important to me? And to write it down and to have it handy, so especially on harder days, I could look back at it and remember why we're doing this. So I wanted to share with you 5 whys that I have. So I hope this encourages you, especially if you are kind of on the fence of homeschooling, or maybe you have started homeschooling, but you're not really sure if you want to continue it, or wherever you are. I hope this encourages you. Or if you just are in homeschooling and you love it and you just want a little encouragement. The number one reason why I homeschool, I would say this is my most important reason, is the time I get with my kids that I wouldn't get if I was sending them to normal school. Now they're still really little. I have a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old. So only the 5-year-old would be technically, going to school right now, or starting kindergarten. But I just want to treasure that time when they're little. It goes so fast. Everybody tells you it goes so fast. And I just feel like that time that I get with them is invaluable. So I looked this up on the National Center for Education Statistics. I'll link it below. So in Colorado, where I live, kids are in school on average 435 hours per year for half-day kindergarten. So that's half days, 435 hours per year. So that's about 31 days. If you're looking at a day, like the time you're awake, about 14 hours, 31 days of time just for half-day kindergarten that your kid is not with you if they go to traditional school. Now, if you add up, like, say your kid does half-day kindergarten and then 1st through 6th grade and then 7 through 12, normal, full days. So that actually adds up to about 12,667 hours, or about 900 days that you could get back with them if you homeschool. That's huge to me, because my primary ministry is to my family and my kids. And so if I can get as much time with them as possible, that is huge. So that is my number one reason. I love spending time with them, and I just want to nourish and build that relationship with them as much as possible. So time with them, number one. Second reason that I didn't totally anticipate when I started out on this journey is the sibling relationships. So I love watching my 2 girls, my 1-year-old, he tries to play with them a little bit, but my 2 girls, my 5 and 3-year-old, just play together. They play so much, and they have so much time to do that. They're so little, so we're not doing like lessons yet. We read together a lot. I plan activities, for us to do sometimes, but for the most part, we're just playing together and reading together. So just to watch their relationship form is really cool. I know that if they went to a normal, or if they, were on the traditional school path, that they would make more and more relationships outside of our family, which is fine. Obviously, we need friendships outside our family, but I want our primary relationships and our closest relationships, Lord willing, to be our family. So just that time together that they get together. Now, there's conflict, of course, but I think it's really beneficial to be home with them and be able to work through that conflict with them and train them in that, instead of them being at school and having some conflict with another kid. And I have no idea what's going on, and who knows how, how they're coaching them or even recognizing that. So that's a big reason for me. The third reason is I want to be the primary teacher and discipler of my kids. So there are so many teachable moments throughout the day that I can point them towards Jesus and speak truth to them. And our kids just watch us so much. So obviously I am far from perfect and never will be perfect, but I am seeking the Lord and hoping that my kids are watching me and seeing me pray and seeing me turn on worship music when I'm stressed and just need to relax and remind myself of what's true. They're watching when we get to go minister to a neighbor, or just even going to the store and talking to the cashier. Like, they're with me and watching me and learning from me, and I love that. So I have been reading through the Gospels lately, and I have been really struck by how Jesus's disciples are with him almost all the time. They are just journeying with him, watching him minister. He's ministering to them, he's ministering to other people, and they're observing him and learning from him. And that is, the best way to learn. And it's not like Jesus went out and did his thing and came back at night and told his disciples what he did. They were there with him, watching him. The fourth reason I homeschool is I want to be the primary influence in my kids' life. So I know if I enroll them in a good school, they would have great teachers, and those would be great influences, but all it takes, especially for a young child, is one negative influence, and it can be super harmful. And I think when they're little, I want to do all that I can do to just guard their hearts and protect them. And as they get older, then obviously they can handle more of our culture and the world, and be able to handle it. So I think that's really important. I don't think we should live in a bubble. I'm not saying that, but I think it's really important to protect our small children. I like thinking about this analogy. So we were doing our landscaping recently and planting trees, new trees, baby trees. And my husband had to use stakes to support them. And then we also had a pretty big snowstorm this past spring, and the snow is really heavy, as you know, spring snows can be. And so he had to go out immediately and brush the snow off the leaves so that the branches wouldn't break, because they were really, small and fragile. So I think of those little trees as our children. They're not ready for all the outside influences and negative things going on in our culture. They're not ready to handle that. But as they get older and stronger, and their roots, like a tree, their roots dig down deep into the soil, and so they can stand strong with any weather. Same with our kids. So hopefully, we're teaching them, we're grounding them in truth, and then as they get older, they can handle those negative things. So I want to be the primary influencer. I think that's really important. And then the last thing, or I want to say the last thing, but the fifth thing that I'm going to talk about is our morning time. So I'll link my video where I talk about what we do in the morning, but our morning time is when I read the Bible to my kids. It's when we talk about one of the 24 Family Ways by Sally and Clay Clarkson. I read a devotional book, we pray together. That time while they're eating breakfast is invaluable and the pinnacle of our day. And there is no way I would be able to do that if we were rushing out in the morning to school. I would have to wake my kids up early, and I don't think that's great for them. I like letting them sleep as long as they'll sleep in the morning. Maybe that'll change when they get older, but right now I like to do that. And then we eat breakfast, gradually, sort of. I mean, our kids are really little, so their attention span is really short, but I don't have to rush. And if they want to hang out longer and eat more and us talk more about what we read, then we can do that and have the freedom to do that. And that's when I do most of our stuff, like reading. I mean, we read all day, but reading from the Bible, and I do a little math with my daughter. I do all that in the morning because that's when I have their attention. That's when we're all, the most awake and sharp, and then we kind of go off and do other things. So I will link that video below if you're curious, but I am really thankful to get that time, and that is one of the things I didn't necessarily anticipate when I started homeschooling, but it's huge. So if you are considering homeschooling for your family, I hope this encourages you. Or if you're already doing it, I hope this encourages you. Comment below if there's other reasons that you homeschool. I would love to hear, or if there's anything kind of holding you back if you're on the fence. I would love to hear that too. So if you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I am posting 2 videos each week related to homeschool, parenting, and some health things as we are on a health journey as well. So please subscribe and comment below if you have any questions or comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day. May the Lord bless you in this journey of educating our children.